Bob Costas is as good as anyone I've ever seen on TV. And I'm not talking about thespians and actors. I'm talking about in a news role, in a straightforward shoot position. He is as talented, he is as intelligent, he is as good of an interviewer and a communicator as I've ever seen. That really is true. And Bob had come out, Monday Night Football's going on, they stopped the game. And Bob came out and he said they stopped the game for humanity. For humanity reasons, they stopped the game. Now that's good, let's stop right there. And Bob generally would. He did it in this case, and I don't know why, but it was a mistake. He went further to say, what would happen if this game continued and then news breaks, particularly news in the day of the internet and social media, that the player had died? What would happen then? Now, hold on. You said we stopped it for humanity. Stop right there. You furthered the thought, which now means we didn't do it for humanity. We did it for PR. That's okay with me, but it's not what Bob said, and he didn't need to offer that, and I'm just correcting that. But let's take a look at what he said. We stopped the game. Why? He answers the question. Because what would happen if we continued to play and the guy died? Okay, but now we have to look at the other side of the coin. What happens if he doesn't? We stopped the game because the gentleman might have died. What happens if he doesn't? Moving forward, to have a precedence and copy what we learned here tonight, which we're all deciding was handled perfectly. The next time a guy is tackled and does not get up, do we stop the game? Was it something different? Does he have to be tackled, get to his feet, and go back down? Is that when we stop the game? Is he not able to get up? X amount of time elapses. An actual ambulance comes on the field and takes him away. Is that the signal to stop the game? I'm asking the question. You said we stopped it because there was a chance that he died. What happens if he doesn't? It's the opposite question. It's the opposite side of your remark, and it's a very reasonable thing to look at. And there was some kind of built-in belief that if you thought they should finish the game, that you're wrong. But if you think we should stop the game, you're on the noble side. But what else should you stop? Is that it? What if I'm in the stands and I have a beer? And I was planning to drink the beer, but the guy went down. Do I have the right to finish the beer? I mean, is the game where it ends? If I drove there with my family and we were going to head home, but we have reservation, we're going to stop off at a place for dinner, can I still make that dinner appointment? At what point do I show my respect so that I get to be the nice guy on the right side of the argument? Bob said it was done for humanity, but then he admitted it was done for appearance. So we got to stop the game because he might die. But what if he doesn't? Do we stop future games? It's not a terrible thing to ask. Skip Bayless wrote a very objective tweet. And he got destroyed. Oh, they destroyed him. His own partner doesn't show up. Now, those two guys, I mean, I got to tell you, I don't have an interest in the sports that they watch to cover, but if I did, and even for one day, I would run them right over. I don't know the name of their show, but it's called, like, Unwatchable. It is terrible, but these two guys go out, and one of them can't even show up. He can't even show up. He's so offended at his partner's tweet. You understand a couple of things that Skip did there. First off, Skip was in the moment. He was in real time. The people that want to be the pat on the back and the good people and come out with a high-handed approach on this are saying the same thing now, 4 days later, as they did when it happened. They haven't changed. You've had 4 days to look at something, reflect, hindsight, have the perfect answer. Everything in life is perfect in hindsight, but they're saying the same thing now as they did right there in the moment. And Skip was also right in that moment. And Skip, in that moment, said, how do you cancel the game? How do you cancel a game of this significance? And the significance and the timing of this game right now, in light of this gentleman and this young man being hurt, seems so irrelevant. And that was in the moment. Without having 4 days to separate, he's still right. That's exactly right. How do you cancel? What does happen? What is the protocol? What is the procedure? Very fair question. You come from sports, most of you are MMA fans, but we have an answer to that. We have an answer to what happens if a contest has to be stopped. It wasn't a submission, it wasn't a TKO, it wasn't a knockout, but it also didn't go to the cards. We have an answer for that. As long as X amount of time has elapsed. We have it in boxing and we have it in MMA. They didn't have it in football. So for Skip to ask the question, not to mention live in the moment, and then have people be upset with him, and he said it seems very irrelevant, the score of a football game when you have this young man hurt. That was the sensitive side, and he didn't have 4 days to think about it. I know love lost for Skip. He makes a whole bunch of money doing a show that's garbage on a network that I can't produce. The very first thing I did when I went to ESPN is I ran those guys out of town. That's a true story. Maybe they'll tell it someday. That's their story to tell. I would run those guys over in one moment of ratings. But Skip is right on this. And his lazy partner that was either trying to do a work and get attention for the crowd or really meant it. Even worse is he really meant it. He didn't back his own partner. And apparently he didn't listen to the tweet. If you think Paddy the Baddy was wrong for proclaiming victory, then what should have he done? If that was wrong, then he should have done the opposite. That's your suggestion. If they should have stopped the game, which they did because he might have passed. What if he doesn't? What if the game continued? Whatever answer you come to, but basic logic would force you, if you found truth, to recognize the opposite would be false. And I don't know that in those situations that's accurate.